I'm Vanessa and Lassier, and today we are going to talk to you about a form of play therapy that is called bibliotherapy. Sorry.
Okay, so what is bibliotherapy? It's the use of selected reading materials as therapeutic in medicine and psychiatry, also guidance in the solution of personal problems through directed reading.
Alright, the purpose of bibliotherapy is to connect with the child through reading. The best way to do it is, like, let's say, like, today we're going to take a child with fear and anxiety, and we're going to read a book called Don't Feed the Worry Bug. And it allow the child to connect with their emotions and their feelings and their problems through a book. And the way that helps is just like versus sitting there and talking to them and be like, so what's the problem? You can relate to it through a book and be like, so how did you think he felt, or how do you think the character felt, and this and that. And it's an opportunity to also, depending on the child's ability, if they can read the book themselves, or you can read to them, or you can share, and it's a good activity for them. And it creates a sense of personal responsibility for them.
Like the child can use the book to relate to their own feelings and their own emotions through the person who is reading the book to them.
Yeah, I think it's a good skill to use. They help. I think it would help probably a child learn empathy really well. So, criteria in choosing a book for a client. Topic of importance to the therapy issue, respective problem for the child. Book is at correct development level, and it shouldn't be too short or too long, and it shouldn't be too hard for them to understand. Fictional books tend to be more effective.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if the book is too long, then the child may be like bored of it in a way.
Lose interest.
Yeah, the best way to interact with a child throughout a long book is to ask questions in between. Take a break, reflect on what they've read so far, or even do another activity within certain pauses of the book.
Yeah, and you don't want to make it hard to understand, because if there's too much going on, there's too much dynamic, the child again will lose interest.
What you can also do, if it's a long book, take pieces of the book that relates to the issue, hit on the main points instead of reading a long chapter or a long book. How to present the book to the client. Notify the client in advance that a book will be read during the next session. Ask the client when they would prefer the book to be read, respective to the beginning or end of the session. Read the book in a more structured setting versus a playroom. The reason why you want to read the book in a more structured setting versus a playroom, children are easily distracted. So if you was in a playroom, the child might, while you're reading, the child might look around at toys or whatnot and lose focus of the purpose of the book.
I agree. I feel like if the setting is more in a place that the child is familiar with, then they'll feel like they're safe, and they also see like other students in their classroom paying attention, and it'll make them pay attention too. And it's always good to notify children what is going to be next, so they can like transition well in what's going to be happening after what they already did in that classroom for that day.
Who reads the book? Take turns. Therapist reads a page and a client reads a page. You could do popcorn. Therapist reads if the client is too young or has difficulty reading. The therapist can prescribe a self-book for the client between sessions for speedy recovery. I think that's good. You recommend a book so the child keeps that kind of skill active for the next session.
And if the client suffers from depression or anxiety, they can be giving a self-book as treatment instead of drug therapy or psychotherapy. I feel like nowadays doctors and etc. are using drugs and other kinds of therapy as a way to help the children cope, but I just feel like sometimes it doesn't have to be drugs. Like, drugs doesn't have to be used to help people in situations that they have.
How to process the book with the client. Ask questions while you're reading the book. It's important to ask questions to the child just to make sure they're paying attention, just to make sure they know what's going on. You also want to ask questions because to you, it may seem like a book that's at the child's level, but to the child, they might not be understanding. So you want to constantly ask, hey, are you understanding the book? Do you get what it's saying? Things of that such. Questions to ask the client, what do you think? Why do you think I chose this book to read with you? What did you think about this book? What did you learn from the book? Have you experienced anything similar in your life? These are questions that you want to ask, because if you're just reading a book to a child without explaining why you're reading the book, it's going to be pointless because they just feel like they got another book read to them. So you want to make sure that the child understands how the book connects to them and how the child can use the same plot to their life and how the child can use the same ending to their life as well.
I agree. I think it's an extremely important part of the whole entire process, because it helps them reflect and develop the most important part, of the activity. That's what you're getting from. You need to ask those questions.
Okay, so the areas where bibliotherapy is effective for different types of clients could be ADHD, adoption, alcoholism, anger management, cancer, depression, death and grief, disability, divorce, separation, and remarriage, domestic violence, and fear and anxiety. These are the area where you could also use this type of therapy to treat clients.
Of course, it's not just these are listed, but these are common disorders that some clients have that need help in.
You can even use bibliotherapy for kids who, wet the bed, or, just kids that can't focus in class. I mean, bibliotherapy can really be effective for anyone and at any age.
All right, so
We're going to do an example of what it is like to do bibliotherapy with a client. So what you would do is, it wants to be the client. It wants to be the little kid that has fear and anxiety. Sweet. So what you would do is you would talk to the kid and you'd be like, hey, next week we're not going to be in the playroom. We're going to read this really fun book, and I'm going to sit at home with you and your mom so you can look at the pictures, get used to it, and then we'll be ready to read it next week. Okay. And then the next week you bring the child in for their session. You don't go to the playroom. You can go to a conference room. You could go just anywhere you just want to stay out of the playroom, just so they have that separation between the playroom and then some reading time, because the playroom is a place for their self-empowerment and stuff like that. So you bring the child in, so you can come in. So I guess we'll sit on the floor. Let me see. Okay. So did you like the book? Did you like the pictures and everything?
I did.
You did? Are you excited to read it?
I am excited.
I'm excited. Do you want to read some? Do you want to read some? Do you want me to read some, or do you want me to read it?
We can both read it.
We can both read it? All right, awesome. I'll start out then. So it's called Don't Feed the Worry Bug. So, on a bench in a park on a bright sunny day, Wince the worry monster let time slip away. So that's Wince, right? Yes, he's so handsome. He looked at the clock and it was 2:15 when Wince started to think about all that he must do. He had homework, he had laundry, he needed clean pants. He must bake some cookies for one worry-woo dance.
Then Wince started to wonder, did he leave the lights on? Was his backside too poofy? Where had all his friends gone? And his worries kept growing till he heard a soft buzz that made goosebumps appear, for he knew what it was. There was only one creature that made such a sound around monsters that worry that could often be found. Some call it the worry bug, and this is for sure. If you feed it worry, it will always want more.
Do you think you have a worry bug every sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
I get a worry bug too, and they're not fun.
It's also itchy.
It can be itchy. Buzz, buzz, Wince heard it all noisy. Its noisy's wings flapped. It flew up and down and shooed and clapped. It fluttered and fluttered around Wince's ear. In the blink of an eye, more worries appeared. No. Do you feel like that sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Did he feed the fish head? Did he get his dog a bone? Did he send the woo meal? Did he bring his bike home? Should he go to see the movie, or should he go, Would he get a good grade? Will the weather be nice for the Woo Town parade? And with every new worry that came Wentz's way, the worry bug shouted, hip hip hooray! For the more that Wentz worried, the more the bug grew. It nibbled and munched on the worry-filled stew. You ever have worry-filled stew?
My mommy makes it all the time.
Wentz said to the worry bug, perhaps you should leave. He said quite politely, and even said please. Yet the worry bug stayed, for the two of them knew that Wentz would still worry, and that's what he would do. Do you ever feel like you just always worry?
As day turned to night, Wentz got ready for bed. The worry bug yawned and lay next to his head. But his buzzing kept Wentz from going to sleep, so he tossed and he turned. He tried to count sheep. While thoughts of what if, could be, maybe, and might made Wentz worry more, he was worried all night. When morning arrived, Wentz looked up and gasped. The worry bug had grown. It had happened so fast. It used to be tiny and Lawrence quite small, now uncovered his kitchen, the ceiling and wall. The bug's belly gurgled, full of worries it was. No longer could Wentz sweep it under the rug. Its buzzing went on and Wentz started to fret about all the things that hadn't happened just yet. Sometimes I think about the things that I have to do and that my mommy places on me to do. And I think about school.
So like your chores and then school and homework and everything, it just makes your worry bug grow, doesn't it?
Yes.
In the morning you get a stomachache too. That's what it does before you go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe Wentz is going to show us some good ideas to help us with our worry bugs.
Okay. No cookies were baked, the laundry had piled. Wentz hadn't done homework in such a long while. I just said that.
I know. Wentz knows what he's talking about.
Enough, Wentz exclaimed. There must be a way to get rid of a worry bug. It can no longer stay. So Wentz went to the library to read and take notes about catapults, cranes, wagons, and goats.
He plotted and mapped out the worry bug graph. They called the experts the worry bug staff. Together they studied this bug growing beast and built a bug net out of Wentz's bed sheets. They were having such fun when Wentz was worried no more, and soon he was baking and doing his chores. We need to get you a bug net, a worry bug net. But just when Wentz thought his work was complete, the worry bug buzzed. I need something to eat. Wentz looked at the bug. It was once again small. For while Wentz had been busy, he hadn't worried at all. You've ignored me all day, the tiny bug said, and you haven't been worried, so I haven't been fed. The worry bug is not happy. We like it when the worry bug's not happy. Then the bug stomped his feet and buzzed all the more. Wentz took a firm stand and showed it to the door. Way to go, Wentz. I've got things to do. I must work. I must play. I'm not going to worry. So go on your way. So we just need to kick that worry bug out the door.
And don't feed it.
Don't feed it. Buzz, buzz, Wentz heard as the bug flew about, still trying to make one last worry come out. It flittered and fluttered around Wentz's ear, yet Wentz wouldn't give in, and it soon disappeared. Wentz knew very well that this wasn't the end. The bug might be back if he worried again. It said to say no to the worry bug simply because Wentz had learned that his worries got bigger each day when he allowed the worry bug to nibble away. So we need to not pay attention to the worry bug, right? Because that's how he grows. So to all of your worries, Wentz wants you to know, don't feed the worry bug or all the worries will grow. The end.
Yay!
So did you like the book?
I
did you feel like you could connect with Wentz? Like you understood what he was going through, right? And so how do you feel like you can help your worry bug?
I can feel that I can help it by staying busy like Wentz did, and by not feeding the worry bug.
That's a good idea. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna send this home with you and your parents. So anytime you feel that worry bug coming about, you can go to Wentz for some advice.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And that's how it would typically look like with a client for a session on bibliotherapy.
So that's the conclusion of our activity and group
PowerPoint.
project.
We hope you liked it, and I hope you learned how to bibliography.
Bibliotherapy.
Bibliotherapy.
Not bibliography.
Wow.
Yay.
Okay.
All right.
I hope it's 15 minutes.